to the, I don't have the link. But I'll get it going. Time is 6:01 p.m. I'd like to call to order this public hearing.
That's all.
All right, excellent. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call, please, Susan.
Yes, Council Pizzuto.
Here.
Council Canales.
Here.
Council Banky.
Here.
Council Nagel.
Here.
Council Page.
Here.
Council Ford.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Rihanna.
Here.
Here.
Mayor Tristan.
Here. All righty. All right, so this is our second public hearing in our budget process. We continue our deliberations, and it's an incredibly important for us to hear from members of the public and your thoughts on the budget as we consider our deliberations. On our agenda, it does say set tentative budget, so I understand that there can be some confusion around that, but it's pretty typical with our process. We keep that on the agenda until our final meeting where we actually set the mill rate, which will take place on April 22nd. So nothing is being etched in stone, nothing is etched in stone, and we're just continuing to deliberate. So with that, we're really here to hear from you folks. So we will open up the floor for public participation. If you are in the room and would like to speak in public participation, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. If you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function in Zoom, and we'll alternate between in the room and over Zoom. Scott, can you make me a panelist, please?
Brian Whalen, 22 Pebble Drive, Newington. I'd like the town council to please reconsider and put the paid fire chief's job back into the budget. Just some quick figures. I know I only have 4 minutes. As we sit here tonight, the town of Cromwell is voting on their fire budget for their fire district. I have their legal notice that came out this afternoon. They are voting on a fire district budget in the amount of $8,622,440. Of that, 2.9 million is for water, which leaves 5.7 million for their fire department budget. In a population of 14,302 people and a population density of 1,059 people per square mile, that's $398 per capita person in the town of Cromwell just for fire protection. Just fire. The town of West Hartford, they have their budget coming up. $15.6 million for their fire department's budget. They have a population of 66,000. A population density of 2,888 people per square mile. And their budget per person, per resident for the town of West Hartford is $245 just for fire protection. Now we come to Newington, 527 people. Our budget with a paid chief is approximately 1.5 million. We have a population density of 2,310 people per square mile, almost close to what the density of West Hartford is. Our per capita price per person for the town of Newington for fire protection, $49 with a paid fire chief, $49 per person compared to $398 for Cromwell and $245 for the town of West Hartford. It is important that the town council maintains the sanctity, the dignity, and the time honored heritage of this volunteer fire department that we've had for over 100 years. We just got our class 2 rating. We're all bragging about it. We're super excited about it, but we did it. But we need you people to help us maintain it. We have 100 firefighters in this town that are committed to you people and to the residents of this town to do the best darn job that anybody can do. And I don't care where you go in this state, they say, those guys in Newington are the best. And we need somebody at the helm to make sure that we maintain that. His sole focus can't be his job and the fire department. His sole focus needs to be the fire department. And he can't concentrate 100% of this fire department when he has to maintain a full-time job, which we currently have that going right now. Once again, I ask you to please reconsider it. And thank you. If you have any questions, I'm always available. You can give me a call. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bro.
Hi, good evening. My name is Diane Duarte. I live at 54 Hunters Lane in Foxborough condominiums. And I've been a resident of Newington for almost 10 years. But most recently, I am out and I don't know what we have in the budget or if any discussions are, but about the loitering in the town of Newington. I could tell you on Sunday and Saturdays, I cleaned out all of Lewis Street. I mean, it's just a total mess. So I just don't know. I don't see any signs in our town regarding littering. There isn't any. We want to take pride of our town, right? And I don't see that there is any pickup or any cleanup, any of that. And I'm just wondering, you know, what are we doing for beautification of Newington? It's a great town, right? A lot of diversity. A lot of people want to be here. And I just don't know what we can do to stop it. Can we have cameras? Can we have maybe a duty? I mean, Lewis Street, Willard Ave, Halloran, where the school is. I can't tell you that, I mean, the bottles of nips and booze that you find on that street that I'm picking up every weekend, it's incredible. And children are there, right? Like I don't even see any police officers there. I know that's not our primary focus, but what can we do to stop that? Just to help clean up our neighborhood and take pride in our town. Just Lewis Street, I mean, if we drive by Price Chopper, it's a nightmare, right? I mean, we all see it. I literally spent 8 hours on Sunday cleaning that. I have people stopping like, what are you doing? But I do that on Willard Ave. I go from New Britain Avenue all the way down to Lewis Street every weekend, and it's garbage bags. And I take pride in where I live. I can't drive by seeing that, and I hope the others agree with this, but I just don't know, is there any plan, anything that we can do to help stop that or promote? I don't know. I know we do the community for the parks and the pools. Can we do about community in the neighborhood? Just different ideas and different suggestions of different things that we can promote within the town that doesn't cost anything. It's just promoting that. Or even signs, like let's just, you know, even though we may not be able to find them, is there a way that we could put signs that we say we're going to find them? I'm not sure if we can even do that legally, but I just think there's something more that we can do within our town just to help clean up the littering. It's horrible, right? It is. So that is my plea. I don't know what we can do if there's a budget for it, but I would be happy to help and be part of it if there's a community that you want to start up. But I'd be happy to participate and be involved in that, if there's an ability to do that. So thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
so much. And thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive, and I think this is my 15th year at this table. I was going to give up, but something happened last week when I was walking on my street and bumped into a new neighbor with a baby, and that baby is number 2 or 3 of the 10 or 12 that have been born in the last year and a half on our street. So this is like the 3rd generation. me being the first, then my daughter, and then a couple others, the Mankey children and the Lollier kids and things like that. She stopped and we were talking about the terminus at the end of my drive, at my street, and what's going on with MDC and all this other stuff. And she said that she was concerned about the pathway and perhaps did I know of anybody she could talk to about gravel and whatever? I think she even mentioned streetlights, but I don't think that's a possibility. But there is work to be done there. And I'm sure as you're looking at the budget and the CIP projects and the balances left, the big thing that stuck out was $8,000 in the Elton Drive terminus. That has been there because Tanya Lane asked me to wait until MDC was finished with their project to do the terminus. We said, no, the terminus had to get in. 6 years later, MDC is there now. I have been reassured by the town manager, the town engineer, that they have full faith that MDC is going to do the best they can. And I did get in touch with the MDC lead on the project, and he said that they would leave it as good, if not better. As good is not good enough because we're still waiting for a few things to be done. So if you're eyeing that and you need it for something good, that's great. I was too late to go down into my basement and get my Christmas stockings. One says I need, and the other says I want. If you've been on here long enough, like Gail and Tim and probably Dave, you've seen me pull them out. But it's just something to consider. We spend $500,000 on neighborhood parks. And I think more people walk that pathway. Mitch, you're very familiar with it. Tim, because of your scouts that have gone down there. But there's 6 acres of state of Connecticut land behind me, and the rest is all town land. And it's a little gem, I think, because it brings you up to Willard Avenue, it brings you up to the senior center. And the only other neighborhood park, I think, in the north end is probably Star Park, and then farther down towards West Hartford. That being said, I get it. You have to use what you have to use, but for the 13 under 5 kids, under the age of 5 on my street, I come and plead that case for you. And it's not just them, it's the runners, the cross-country team from the high school, and a lot of people, even at Extravaganza, it's used very frequently by all the neighbors and other people. Last but not least, and I mentioned this to Councilor Tiniakis about the fact, and you know it, I don't like seeing you make your changes and the public not having any input. We have input now, but when you go into your caucuses and you decide what you want to change, there's no chance for us to say anything. And I get that you don't want to have another public hearing because it extends the process. But I thought if you could do something like you do when you waive the rules, ask if there's any public participation. There's probably going to be 3 people here. Me, William McCarthy, and I don't know, some oddball is going to show up. But I shouldn't say oddball because we're oddball. I'll include myself in that. So I don't think it's going to take too much time, but it's a little bit of a consideration to the public that, like I've been at town council meetings where the CIP was 300,000 was taken from the municipal parking lot budget for CIP. 200,000 was given to roadways and 100,000 to Parks and Rec. Don Woods was in such shock, he had to get off of his couch and come down and thank the town council for giving him $100,000 that they had never asked for. So I think it's important to hear from the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Good to see you. Anybody else in the room or over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation or part of public hearing? No?
Good evening, councilors and mayor. I know you're in a very difficult period of time. Money's tight, budgets are tight throughout all the towns.
State your name and address for the record.
I'm
please.
sorry, I should know that by now. That's what happens when you go to one too many meetings. I'm like that side or this side. Joe Harpy, 36 Baldwin Court. So as I was saying, I looked at some of the mill rates of the other towns or surrounding towns, and there's about, out of a list of 12, about 11, well, I'll say about a list of 12, there are about 6 towns that have mill rates in the middle to low 30s. And in fairness, I think it's been 4 years since you've had your revalve. Some of these are coming out of a current revalve. But I would be, I think I find it difficult to believe, but I think we could, even after revalve, land up with a fairly significant mill rate. And I say that because the value of homes, which there was a rush to over the last couple of years, did provide an artificial lift to the mill rate just because of their value. But now that that has settled down somewhat on the real estate side, I think we'll get closer to the real number. I think the benefit to this council is the new town manager and the staff. And the kind of tests that we would look at back in the day when I was on the council. And there was a council back during those periods of time. The first thing we looked at was the reliability and the verification of the numbers presented to us. And again, I think you're all blessed with people who work every day to make sure you get that good feed of numbers, and that's passed down to the town manager when he develops his budget. The second piece of that test at this period of time that we always wrestle with, are we being fair to all the departments in terms of cuts or additions? And of course, the board, I think, is an exception to that in the sense that a good 80% of their budget is contractual arrangements, so they don't have a lot of way to go. I mean, you can love them or hate them, but the reality is to keep the quality education in place, as the superintendent does, is a hat trick at best. That's a difficult thing. And then I think the last test that we used to put on the economic or review of the budget was, does it do what you want it to do? You each have a motivation for seeing something in the budget or taken out of the budget. Does that test provide the fact that the budget does what you want it to do? So I think those are the things I'd like to share with you, but Thanksgiving or Christmas, I have 4 children, so we get together at that period of time and they'll say, how's the budget, Dad? And I say, well, it's another tough year. And they say, okay, yeah, but aren't you going to add the other part of that? And I said, what's that? You're going to, because you always say, this year I mean it. Well, this year I do mean it. It's going to be a tough budget year. Well, God bless you all and good luck with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. We appreciate it. That was good. That was helpful. Yeah. Anybody else in the room or over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation? Going once, going twice. All right, with that, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, seconded by Councilor Bullard. Any discussion on adjournment? Seeing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned at 6:19 PM. But stick around, we'll be back at 7 for our regular meeting. Don't go anywhere.
That's awesome.
That part of it. Wow, that was fun. Do that again. Oh, all right, the time is 7:01 PM. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Mayor and Town Council for April 8th to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'd actually ask if folks wouldn't mind remaining standing briefly. We just had, last week, Newington lost a member of our EMS committee, Daniel Interlandi passed away. And we would like to do a moment of silence to honor him, please. Thank you. You have a roll call, please.
Yes, Council Pacheco.
Here.
Council Gonzalez.
Here.
Council Manky.
Here.
Council Nagel.
Here.
Here. Council Ford.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Reado.
Here.
Council Tiliaco.
Here.
Mayor.
Here. Alrighty. Move on the agenda approval. Any changes to the agenda? Anybody have any questions or concerns or anything? I would move approval. All right,
Second.
motion by Councilor Manky to approve agenda, seconded by Deputy Mayor Rada.
I would just observe there is a slight typo on the agenda. For the tax refunds, the date was wrong. It should say April 8th and, or actually April 9th or April 8th, sorry, today's date, and not March 25th. Line.
Okay. Thank you. You'll note that change. All right, so we had a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstention? All right, motion carries unanimously. All right, now we are moving on to the fun time of the meeting. While all of you are here to gathered, we get to celebrate some awesome folks tonight with some proclamations. All right, I'm going to read the first proclamation honoring Tara Tigno on being recognized as the 2025 Connecticut Association of Schools High School Principal of the Year. Whereas Tara Tigno, a longtime educator and Newington community member since 2006, has faithfully served the Newington Board of Education as assistant principal for 11 years and was appointed as principal in 2017, serving a total of 19 years. And whereas Tara Tigno has demonstrated exceptional dedication, vision, and commitment to fostering a positive and inclusive learning environment at Newington High School. And whereas fostering a culture of relationships and communication, Ms. Tara Tigno has played a pivotal role in enhancing academic achievement, supporting faculty and staff, and inspiring them to reach their full potential. And whereas outstanding and collaborative educational leadership is essential to the success of our schools, students, and the Newington community. And whereas Tara Tigno has been honored as the 2025 CAS State High School Principal of the Year, a testament to her remarkable contributions to Newington's education and her impact on the lives of students, educators, and the Newington community. And whereas Newington High School's #1 sports fan, Tara Tigno, has an infectious personality and genuine care for others, serving as a role model for administrators and educators across Connecticut. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Newington Town Council proudly recognizes and commends Principal Tara Tigno for this well-deserved honor, and we express our deepest appreciations for her dedication to the field of education and unwavering commitment to the student, teachers, and families of Newington High School. Any discussion from council? Congratulations. Well, we're not done with you yet. No. So we had a motion and a second to approve the proclamation. Any discussion from councilors? Councilor Draco.
Well, it's apparent to Newington for years, how committed you are to creating Newington High School, a stressful environment for both staff and students. And it's really great that this has been recognized at the state level as well. We're very proud of you and you made Newington proud. But we know, I mean, we've observed the hard work and the leadership, and you set a really high bar, certainly for staff and also for students within Newington High School. And you made a difference. You made Newington High a better place, and I'm sure you're going to continue on that path. So thank you very much and congratulations.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Thank you so much for everything that you do. I think that Councilor Berdraco said it best. You make a difference. And thank you on a personal level. I remember going through the high school with one of my children and walking through the hallways with you and all the kids, and you knew all of their names. And I just remember that and it's something special that you do. So thank you very much.
Councilor Page.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, on a personal level, my family, our kids very much have benefited from your leadership and your love. And as a representative of the town, our entire town thanks you very much and is deeply grateful for everything you've done for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Tigno, I have a very unique perspective among folks at this table because you were my principal. And
So
I
it's
got
your
to
fault.
see, I know.
Nice going. Thank you.
But I got to see firsthand the dedication to your profession, to the students in our school. I was privileged to have a lot of supporters at the high school, but you were always there. And your dedication to kindness and the encouragement, not just among students, but with staff too, to always lean into a student, learn more about them, be curious about them, understand where they're coming from. You are such a role model in that building. Everybody is inspired by the work that you do in small ways and big ways every single day. I'm inspired by you every single day still. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all you're going to continue to do. And if there's anything we can do to support you in making our town just a little more kinder every day, you just let us know.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Mackey. Councilor Mackey.
No, thanks. Of all the things that are listed here, I think your infectious personality spoke to me. And this is all well and good, but I'm sure there are nights when you go home and you say, why? Why are you a principal at a high school? And I'm sure there's probably more nights that you do that than you go home and say, my infectious personality makes a difference. I can't answer that question for you. And I'm sure there's a lot of nights you go home and you probably go to sleep asking, why am I a principal? But from my perspective, I can answer, we need you. You make a difference and you're good at what you do. And we're glad that we have you because I've spoken to a lot of students who think that you're just great at what you do. Councilor Plurd, especially. And I think that makes a difference. I think in life, we go through a lot of times in life, we make a difference to people's lives and we never know the difference we make. We touch people here and there. We touch people minutes at a time or maybe a whole school semester, but you'll never know the difference. But believe me, you make a difference and you'll probably never know the difference you make, but somewhere down the road, hopefully someone comes back and says, you made a difference in our lives and you'll know why you're a principal. Because I'm sure there are those nights you're wondering, why am I a principal? Why didn't I go into something else? But we appreciate all you do for our town and for our students.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Nagel.
Congratulations. On a public, personally, when you came around, I said congratulations. I too have a unique perspective, having taught on a high school level in another school system for 35 years. So I well know how difficult and yet how rewarding it is to be a principal in a high school. The few times that I am invited to come in and different occasions, you've always been gracious. You could tell that things were well run. You could tell that all those there generally were concerned about you and appreciated all that you do. And we're so happy that you're here and that you continue. And we know you're the best in Newington, but it's really an honor to see that your peers throughout the state have recognized the fact that you are a blessing, and so happy that you've received this award. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Counselor. Deputy Mayor Rada.
Yes, I just want to add my congratulations to everyone else's and, excuse me, from everything I hear and from you can see, I'm sure a huge number of these folks are here to honor you, which is great to see. Thank you for everything that you have done, that you continue to do, and I know that you will do, and you will be changing lives for many years to come. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for all that you do. As it's been said, I have personal stake in this. My daughter's current student at the high school, and the parent, at least for me, every time my kid has gone to a different level in school, I'm just terrified what's going to happen to them there. And in Newington Public Schools, every single time, it's just they're welcoming, and it's been such a, as a parent, it's a great place to send my kids to every day, and I feel confident in what's happened to them there, and it's a testament to your leadership. We've gotten a group of us, we met at the high school a couple of weeks ago and got a firsthand look at the kind of students you're producing, and they care about their community, they are involved in their community, and they want what's best. And I think that's really the goal, and you've done an amazing job. Testament sitting right here at the table. So, we're just incredibly lucky to have you, and we wish you a million congratulations. So thank you so much. Would you like to come up and say something, please? Would you like to come up and say a few words? Maybe put you on the spot. Parody lyrics.
I'll save my song for June 17th. No, I just take a quick minute, but I want to thank you all for the recognition. It's obviously quite an honor, and something I actually don't wonder why I became principal. I think it's pretty clear in my everyday. I love what I do, and growing up in this town and being able to come full circle here is just super special. So I just want to give a shout out, if I may. I'm going to turn around. Someone alluded to it, but there are a lot of people here for me tonight. I'll start with my students because, I'm sorry. I'm going to start with my daughter. My parents, my daughter, my fiance, and his son, the students at Newington High School, the staff, the administration, Dr. Bromit's here, my sister, my best friend, and then obviously to have Matt. I have some former students here for a different reason, former parents. It's really special, and I would do it obviously without this award, but having it means so much to me, and I learned it all from this woman right here, 83-year-old Harriet Sullivan, who taught her. Yeah, I'm truly blessed to have this job and be in this community. So love you guys. Love you all. Thank you all for coming. I hope I didn't miss anyone. And Marco Trillo will be honored in a minute, but what an honor to be here with another fellow administrator in district who I admire and look up to as well. So we're very fortunate in this town. So thank you all so much.
Indeed.
Thank you.
All right. Moving right along. As was alluded to, you have another administrator to honor today. What a group we have in this community. Proclamation honoring Marco Turillo on being recognized as a 2025 Connecticut Association of Schools Middle School Assistant Principal of the Year. Whereas outstanding educational leadership is essential to the success of our schools, students, and the Newington community. And whereas Marco Turillo has demonstrated exceptional dedication, vision, and commitment to fostering a positive learning environment at John Wallace Middle School. And whereas through unwavering leadership, innovation, and a passion for student success, Marco Turillo has played a pivotal role in enhancing academic achievement, supporting faculty and staff, and inspiring students to reach their full potential. And whereas Marco Turillo has been honored as the 2025 CAS State Middle School Assistant Principal of the Year, a testament to his remarkable contributions to Newington's education and his impact on the lives of students, educators, and the Newington community. And whereas this recognition reflects his tireless efforts in promoting excellence in education and fostering a culture of inclusivity, under his guidance, John Wallace has become a no place for hate school. Whereas Marco Turillo has an infectious personality and genuine care for others, serving as a role model for administrators and educators across the state. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Newington Town Council proudly recognizes and commends Assistant Principal Marco Turillo for this well-deserved honor, and we express our deepest appreciation for his dedication to the field of education and unwavering commitment to the students, teachers, and families of John Wallace Middle School. We'll get you up there in a second.
Congratulations. Second?
There you go. Need a motion in a second.
Congratulations.
All right, we had a motion and a second. Any discussion from counselors? Counselor Gonzalez.
Thank you so much for everything that you do. I had 3 children go through the school system with you, wrestling, a lot of different things. You are an amazing role model, and we are very lucky to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Bedrejko.
Obviously, congratulations on this honor. Well deserved, because it takes an awful lot of hard work and commitment to reach this level of achievement. It's not many people, not many at all, that can reach the level that you've reached and be recognized, not only within your own school community, but by your peers in the state. I also understand it wasn't, it was kind of mentioned in the proclamation, but that you're a real believer in teaching and modeling environment of teamwork, of inclusiveness, and really building a community in addition to academic excellence as well. And those are skills that are going to last students a lifetime. So again, thank you on what you've done and what you'll continue to do.
Counselor Page.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just would also say thank you very much for everything you do. Being an administrator, principal, assistant principal, or in any capacity as an administrator is being in a fishbowl. And there are pressures from Board of Ed, from superintendents, from other administrators up top. There are pressures from parents. There are rightly so expectations from families and from students for excellence. And you're in that fishbowl every day. And unless you do it with authenticity and from the right place in your heart and with the right disposition, it isn't done well. And clearly you're doing it well. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Deputy Mayor Rada.
Yes, I just want to add my thanks and congratulations for everything that you do and that you will continue to do. It goes beyond the middle school environment, and it affects everyone in our community, and you do it in such a positive way. So thank you very much.
Counselor Nagel.
Thank you so much for all you do. I'll take this off. That's this is supposed to help, but it kind of just sort of. At any rate, thank you so much for all that you do. As I said before, I've taught for many years. I've said it many times whenever there are proclamations like this to give. But I also taught 1 year in middle school. So I know, I know how difficult a task you have. And from what I understand, and I've seen what a great job that you do. And this town is really blessed not only to have one educator recognized from a state organization, but also to yet have you as an assistant principal recognized for the outstanding work that you do in Newington by the entire state of your peers. So congratulations. And I live in your neighborhood, and while I don't have any students in your school, I know I will see you again in the not too distant future. Thank you.
Counselor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Terrell, I'll just add my thanks. You work with kids at such a formative time in their lives in middle school. That's a tough time in a kid's life. And you are not just a role model, but you're, I'm sure, a shoulder to cry on. You're a friend to have in really difficult moments for a lot of these kids, weathering really difficult times. So to be honored for that work and to excel at it and do it exceptionally well is no small feat. So thank you so much sincerely for all that you do and all that you're going to continue to do for our community. Thank you.
Counselor Mankey.
I just want to thank you for all your work you do on our behalf with middle school. I have a daughter who teaches at middle school, in the middle school. I think administrators in the middle school are more like a circus master. You kind of keep all the acts going, and hopefully the lions don't get out and the monkeys don't get loose. I think it's speaks well to your character that you're recognized by your peers over the state and so many of your peers here tonight. I have not had the pleasure of being in one of your classes, but I have two grandsons who will be in your classes soon. Well, not soon, relatively speaking, but in a few years from now. And I'm glad that they will have a role model like you to go to. I'm glad that you're also developing role models of other teachers and other administrators that will follow your example and your guidance that'll help our schools be better schools and leave us in good stead. So I appreciate all your efforts on our behalf. Thank you.
Mr. Cirillo. This is an incredible honor for me. We go way back, about 15 years now. I've known Marco, and I've gotten to witness firsthand the dedication, tireless dedication that he puts into his craft and his work. The job of a principal doesn't end when the bell rings at 3. I've been there with you on Friday nights when calls come in, on Saturday nights when calls come in. And one thing I can say about Marco that wasn't mentioned in here is he does not shy away from anything. He takes his challenges heads on and he does his duty. And, you're a great friend of mine and you're a role model to me. So it's been amazing to get to know you, and quite an honor to be able to do this tonight. And so proud of you, man. This is just amazing. So congratulations to you. Oh yeah, wait, we had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
First of all, thank you so much for this honor. I'm privileged to be working in Newington Public Schools. My kids go to Newington Public Schools. I live in Newington. I love it here. I love this district. And to be able to have this honor, especially with Tara, which everyone knows Tara, to be in the party with Tara, you're a happy person to know that we're doing this together. I'm wowed by it. I want to thank my wife. She's my rock, she knows the hours that sometimes I put in and the work that I do, and she's always there for me and always there for this. And I can always say that, I share this with her and my colleagues, Dan, my other fellow admins, the teachers in our buildings, the students, everything of this came together as a group. And we always say in Wallace, we're a family, and that's what we are with this. And I share this with every one of them because without them, I wouldn't have this. So thank you so much for this honor. I really appreciate it.
We would invite Dr. Brummett up if she would like to make any comments on her exceptional administrators recognitions tonight.
Just a few remarks, and first and foremost, thank you to the council for honoring my two administrators. To say that I'm proud of the work they do and their commitment to the district is an understatement. Starting with Marco, I was part of the committee that came to visit the school. And if you could have heard the remarks by the staff that were there, other members were there too, but the staff was just resoundingly positive about the contributions he's made. And one of his big contributions is to his work with kids and what we call restorative practices, where kids are learning from the mistakes they make versus just strictly getting a consequence. And that's something he has spearheaded for a number of years. But he is calling me 24/7 if he's got an issue, and he is just a dedicated individual. So he deserves this award times 10. Ms. Tigno, her students are the ones that nominated her. So that tells you a lot. She was previously nominated by an assistant principal, and then in the second year, it was kids that came forward who just lit up and filled the recommendation form with all of the things that she has done for them and with them. And you can tell by their attendance tonight that she is someone that supports the students. Obviously, the teachers here tell you another story about her work, but she truly is compassionate, passionate, and is one of the most dedicated principals to ensuring that her students have a voice at the school. So again, I couldn't be more proud to have now two principals who have attained this very prestigious honor. So thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you.
All right. Moving along. One final proclamation tonight. One of our dedicated staff members is leaving us, unfortunately, but we'll go ahead. Proclamation. Whereas we take pride and pleasure in joining family members and friends, along with members of the community, in congratulating Todd Breton on his deserving retirement after 40 years of service to the town of Newington. And whereas Todd Breton has been an employee of the town of Newington since April 8th, 1985. And whereas Todd began his career as a night custodian at John Patterson Elementary School and transferred to John Wallace Middle School in 1990. And whereas after completing a total of 12.8 years of service to the Newington Board of Education, Todd was promoted as head custodian of Town Hall. And whereas throughout his tenure, he has maintained the highest standards of cleanliness and safety, ensuring a welcoming and comfortable environment for staff and visitors of town buildings. And whereas Todd has consistently gone above and beyond the call of duty, demonstrating kindness, reliability, and strong work ethic that has made a lasting impact on all who have had the pleasure of working with him. And whereas Todd has received various letters and emails of appreciation from staff and supervisors for his outstanding service. And whereas Todd embarks on a well-earned retirement, we express our deepest gratitude for his years of services and wish him happiness, health, and fulfillment in the years ahead. And whereas Todd Breton retired from service to the town of Newington on April 9th, 2025. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby recognizes and extends its sincere appreciation to Todd Breton for his professional service and dedication to the town, and wishes him the best in his retirement. Dated in Newington, Connecticut, this 8th day of April, 2025.
Second.
Boy, here you go. Thank you so much. We're not done, you know. All right, we had a motion and a second by Councilor Mankey. Any discussion from councilors? Counselor Draco.
Oh, Todd, it's gonna be strange not seeing you in the halls of this building every night when we're here. You're always here, doing your job, smiling. And I truly, I don't know, I thought of you as one of the unsung heroes of town staff. But please know that your efforts and all the work you've done do not go unnoticed, hasn't gone unnoticed. You've always taken pride in the appearance of the facility and the way you do your job and the upkeep of this facility. And often, I'm sure, having to clean up after those who don't care as much and but you just do your job, you keep on smiling. And I'm sure within these walls, you've seen a lot. You've heard a lot, but yet you've always kept professional and maintained ethics. So 40 years of service to the town is just amazing. You've been an asset to our town. You've been an essential function of all the facilities where you've worked, both in the school systems and in this building and the prior building. And I wish you well as you retire from this chapter of your life, and much happiness in the next, and you're going to be missed, Todd.
Very much, very much. Deputy Mayor Rada.
Yes, Todd, it's regardless of the time of evening or day sometimes that, you know, I come in and out of the building, you are here, you always have a smile, you're always pleasant and just a really welcoming face to enjoy and appreciate. And I know that Newington Public Schools, I'm sure, missed you when you moved on to the town hall, and we are certainly going to miss you as you move into your retirement, but all the best of luck to you. Thank you for all the 40 years, amazing 40 years of service, and thank you so much.
Counselor Page.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we show up at these buildings, whether it's the school, the old town hall, the new town hall, and it looks beautiful. And so I know most times I come here, unless I see you, I show up and it's beautiful. And I think, oh, that's the way it always is. That's the way it's supposed to be. And why would it be any different? But it is that way because of you. And you do this, and we all show up and expect it to look like that, and it does. And wow, thank you very much for all of your hard work, night and day, all the years. We really, really appreciate you, and all the best to a wonderful, long retirement. Thank you.
Counselor Nagel.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Todd, for all the years that you have greeted me at all different times of the day, at night, always with a smile, always with a kindly, friendly conversation. We all know, and I know you know, that your position is the most important one in any building, be it a high school, a middle school, an elementary school, a town building. That if you want to know how well a town is run and what a town is like, it's talking to people like you in your position that really shows what this community is like and what you were like. And I hope your retirement is a blessed one. And I'm glad to see you're smiling right now. And I think even before this meeting started, I saw you running around. I thought, what is he doing? He's still cleaning. You come back and do it anytime you want to. But no, you don't have to. Okay. Thank you so much for all the years you put in. You'll be missed.
Very much so.
Indeed.
Counselor Menke.
Todd, I think I'll always remember you for every time I saw you, you had a kind word. I recall, I think the first time I met you, I was a newly elected counselor, and I was all proud of myself. And I walked out of the building, out of this, not this room, the room that got torn down, but I walked out of a room and you looked at me and said, well, only 51 more meetings to go. And I said, geez, that seems like a whole lot of meetings. I know that I would be a lot more meetings than that, but apparently I'm still here and you're leaving. They gave you a clock. I'm not sure why they give retired people a clock, because what are you gonna do with the clock? They should give you a hammer. But I do drive by your house all the time, and I'm gonna drive by and wave now, and maybe we can stop and have a beer on your deck. But But I do appreciate the fact that every time I've seen you, you've had a kind word. And the way you keep up this building is immaculate. And it's easy to say that, you know, that's your job, but it's also your passion. It's also your dedication to our town. And I really appreciated that, the fact that this is a showplace and you've done a great job. And even the old building was, even though it was run down and falling apart and the floors had been waxed to death, you kept those up as best you could with the condition they were. So I appreciate all you do for our town.
Counselor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Todd, you are going to be so missed in this building. It's only been a couple years since I've gotten to know you in this capacity, but when I was a student at the high school and I would go to the Board of Ed meetings and be a student rep, you were there too. You are an institution in these buildings, an institution, and something's going to be missing without you. And I always thought, particularly over the past couple years, you meet a lot of town staff. We have phenomenal town staff. And I always thought, whenever I would chat with you, Todd, that I hope that every member of the public who comes in and out of these halls gets 1 word or 2 words or 5 minutes with Todd, so that they can know a little bit more about what goes on in this building and how welcoming of a space this place can really be. And you drive that forward. So thank you for all that you do. Enjoy your very well-deserved retirement.
Counselor Gonzalez.
I just want to thank you for all your years of service. It's pretty amazing. I'm not sure what hours you really worked, because if I came in the morning, I would see you smiling and waving and say hello. And I'd come in at night and you'd be here still smiling and waving. And then when we'd leave at whatever time that is, you'd still be here smiling and waving. But always a smile, and everything looks amazing all the time. Thank you so much for everything you've done, and good luck with your retirement. I wish you all the best.
So to a person, everyone has said, you know, what we get is a smile when we see Todd. And what I think, you know, we was lost on that is how impactful that is to other people. I think, you know, for myself, being a newly elected mayor coming in this building, and I didn't know anybody and didn't know where anything was. And Todd was the first person to chat me up, and it has always just been smile and like everyone says. But for me, it helps me relax. It helped me feel a little more comfortable in the space. It helped me just do that. So like when you're kind to people, it has an impact on people every single day. And this is a testament to the impact that you've had on this community. And we're sorry to see you go, but you know, wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement, Todd. So congratulations. Thank you. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion from councilors? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Todd. Would you like to come up?
Well, I guess I'd like to thank all of you for your kind comments. And then my wife, who's never complained about me working second shift for all these years. But I think the complaining is going to start Thursday.
She's been saving it. She's been saving it.
And I have to thank all my family and friends that showed up tonight. It's unbelievable. I mean, sisters and daughters and sons and father-in-law, mother-in-law, all of them, the whole family. And all my friends out here, they're there. Beth, oh my gosh, Scott. Gotta thank them all. And I will say that I'm not gonna miss the work, but I'm gonna miss the people in this building, because you know you got a great bunch of people working in all these departments. I mean, they're just top notch. And that's what I'm gonna miss, the people coming in and talking with them every day when I make my rounds. I'm gonna miss that. But that's it. That's it.
Amazing.
We get to go home now, Mayor?
I think we did the important stuff tonight, that's for sure.
Oh, now everyone's
All
leaving.
right.
No.
Moving right along.
Stay for the budget.
Yeah.
Fun.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Oh, yes, please, Joe, come on up. Yes, yes, yes.
I just wanted to congratulate Todd as well on all his years of service. No one's gonna miss Todd more than I am. When I leave here at night, I don't worry about this building because I know that Todd's here. The way that he's kept the appearance of this building since it's been built it goes without saying. So he's a true professional, and he will certainly be missed. He has big shoes to fill.
Yes.
And, I wish him all the best in his retirement. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Get back to work.
Yeah. You give a night off?
The guy's gotta go back to work.
You know.
Don't be a stranger.
All righty, we're moving right along. We will, at this point, we can open it up for public participation. If you are in the room or over Zoom and like to speak in public participation, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. My name is Beth Del Buno, 327 Walsh Avenue. I know everybody's exiting the room, but I'm still going to make my comments. I came down tonight for Todd. And it was a nice surprise to see that Tara and Marco were both on the agenda as well. My husband and I have had the honor of having students at the high school with Tara, who at the time was their assistant principal. And she had an incredible impact on our kids, our son especially. And really, like, it's kind of funny, we get together and we talk and chat all the time, and we credit her with the reason he graduated. I mean, she was just always there for him. When he was having a rough day, she was the person that he could go and talk to, even vent if he needed to vent. And she would just listen and let him do what he had to do and then get him back into class successfully. So Tara has had an amazing impact on so many students. But from the bottom of our hearts, my husband and I are so thankful for her influence on our own children, and we're so glad to see her being recognized. I wanted to congratulate Marco as well. While I don't have the pleasure of knowing him personally, it really is quite an honor to be recognized in such a way by an association of your peers. So the real reason I did come down, though, was when I saw that Todd was being honored. And many of you made a lot of these comments, but being here after hours, many evenings, Todd really, and Gail, you said it, and I was kind of mad because I had it right here, really is an unsung hero. So Todd is the guy who blends into the background. You come in the evening, things are the way they should be, chairs and tables and everything's just set up the way it should be, and clean and nice and wonderful. And it's because of Todd and the rest of the staff. But Todd just blends into the background. You don't even know he's here. And there were many an evening where I sat upstairs in the office and was catching up on emails or whatever. And well, he and I did scare each other quite a few times. When he didn't know I was in the office and I didn't know he was necessarily in the hallway. But knowing he was in the building, I know he's not a security guard, but somehow there was a sense of security and safety just knowing and having his presence in the building when I was here late in the evenings. So while he served in the role of head custodian, he served in so many other ways. I can't think of a time, a meeting, an event where he wasn't around, where he wasn't doing something in the background to help us out. I think of Veterans Days events and Memorial Day events, and when we needed extra chairs on the drop of a dime, and he would bring out the rack and set them up, and you didn't even have to ask. Like, he just assessed the situation and took care of it most times. And if you did need anything, he was there in a heartbeat, getting it done for you no matter what. He really is an amazing human being, not just an employee, but he's an amazing, nice, wonderful, loyal, funny, incredible human being. And the fact that he gave 40 years to this town is amazing. I mean, we've done a lot of retirement proclamations over the last several years, and 40 years, I don't know that I've ever done one for anybody that long. So it's pretty amazing what he's done and what he continues to do. And I know he's coming in tomorrow just for a few hours from what I understand from his wife, but I hope he keeps his floors at home shined up, because she told me how much pride he took in this building and how shiny the floors were. So I'll remind her of that, make sure he's doing that at home too. And well, she's not here, but boy, Kim, do you have an adjustment? Because My husband retired too, and I come home from work and I'm used to having some hours by myself before I got home, and there's no more time by yourself. So I'll have to tell her, maybe we can get together and get a support group going or something. But Todd, congratulations. If you do watch this, congratulations on 40 amazing years. And I just hope, I know they love to travel and they love to take extended trips and do things with their family. And I know they'll continue to do that. And I just wish them all the best. Thank you. And good luck with budget, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, right. Anyone else? Come on up.
Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. Beth said it all. In the words of Dave Nagel, just want to echo what the former mayor had to say about Todd. He's a really special person. I know I've made a couple of suggestions about the rules of procedure for the town council, and I thought that they were going to meet again, the committee, and I forgot even what the suggestion was. They waited long enough, I forgot. But one suggestion I've made over the years, and as you've seen right now, everybody left and Todd wasn't able to hear the kind words from the former mayor, and I think Joe is his boss. I think it would have been nice if you just said, if there's anybody in the audience that'd like to speak. They used to do that. And again, back to listening to people's input about the changes that you make. There used to be, I think in 2018, 2020, there was something in the rules that if the mayor so chose, he could open it up to the public for comments. So I better start writing things down in my steno book. Like I just told, I think Tim or somebody back there, I'm starting to feel like Myra Cohen more and more every day when I come to these meetings, but special people. And just as far as his being a custodian here, I've known him for many years here, being to the council meetings. He'd hold up one side of the wall and I'd hold up the other, and we'd listen to everybody say, wait until we renovate and see what's going to happen. But having been very active in the schools with my daughter and being at Martin Kellogg, I was never at a school that Todd was at. Our custodians are our unsung heroes, because I was involved with a lot of events after school, and the parents are rustling, bustling around trying to get things together, but we don't know where everything is, chairs, tables, things like that. And they were always there just waiting to help. So appreciate everything everyone in the school system and in the town does as far as taking care of the buildings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Public participation. Yep,
jump on.
Yep, come on up.
Hopefully I can get through this.
Just state your name and address for the record. please.
Mike Woff, 57 Kitts Lane. I'm here regarding CT Transit. I lived on Kitts Lane for about 21 years. And for as long as I can remember, the buses going south on the turnpike would pick up and drop off riders at Boston Market. Then in September, someone at CT Transit made a route change, taking the buses off the turnpike and sending them down Kitts Lane, coming off of East Robbins, resulting in about 950 buses a month going through our neighborhood, starting at 5 a.m. until 1 a.m. I have been battling with CT Transit and DOT since day one. At first, I was told they were going to make a change to the route. Then months later, they changed their mind, citing safety as the reason. By my estimate, 80% of the riders getting off or on the bus cross the turnpike and not always at the crosswalk, which is 7 lanes on the north side of the intersection and 9 lanes on the south side. Not to mention the riders being picked up or dropped off anywhere on the street. I was told by someone with the DOT that if the town told them not to cut through our neighborhood, they would stop. If any members want more detailed information, They can see the town manager whom I've had conversation with, or myself and my neighbors. That's it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any questions or?
And we don't, it's just not,
Okay,
it's not that
I just
important,
wanted
but
to,
no,
I mean,
yeah.
we're talking 950 buses
Yeah.
a month going through that. It's a relatively small neighborhood. There's no reason they can't stay on the turnpike.
Agreed. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room or over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation? Seeing none, I believe we did have one email correspondence, is that correct?
Yep.
We did.
Just pull it up here. All right. All right, you want me to read it?
Mr. Laverty?
Okay, we did receive I'll just give it we received an email from a Mr. Jimmy Lavery related to AMR paramedic response times.
Oh, right.
Was there any other email correspondence anyone knew of? No? Cool. All righty. We'll move on to remarks by counselors on public participation. Counselor Draco.
Well, it's not really public response to, but just seeing superintendent here, I just want to say that, you know, you should be proud tonight. Obviously you are. And it's also got to be some kind of reflection of your leadership.
Yeah.
And giving them the space and the resources to do what they need to do to reach this level. So thank you. You should be thanked as well. I'm just curious about the individual, Mr. Welch.
Yeah.
About Kitts Lane.
Yeah.
When was, if you can just, I'm just curious, is when did this change in the route occur and what reasons were given for it? Because it does, if he's talking just about between East Robbins and the Turnpike, that little street, that is very little.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot of buses going through there. So why did the DOT change it? What kind of?
Yeah, so
authority do we have?
I can't answer that question as far as why they did it. I presume it was based on demand and, you know, and whatever their normal, you know, public process is and a statistical process is for determining, you know, the most appropriate route. I have made contact with somebody at DOT who is a supervisor for CT Transit Matters. I know that Mr. Waugh raised some concerns regarding speeding, regarding pickups of passengers outside of designated bus stops. Specifically, there was one incident actually that evidently happened on his lawn. I know that in speaking with that contact, they have made that a priority to make sure that that doesn't happen again. That riders only get picked up at the designated bus stops and nobody can just flag down a bus. And also about the importance of traveling at, you know, within the speed limit on those roads. So I know that from DOT that that's a priority. Now, as far as I think the larger question about why that section of Kitts Lane, I don't know. What I can do is reach back out to DOT and say, you know, can you talk me through and give me some, you know, rationale for why this
Why the
route,
change was
why the
made,
change was made?
Because again, that is a town road. It's a very small.
Yeah.
I mean, I walk there,
Yeah.
and so if you can find out the
Yep.
information and the rationale behind it. And then bring it back to us and we can
Sure.
see if we agree or not and what can be done or not. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I would echo those statements. I believe I've talked to one of your neighbors about this issue as well. Yep, correct. Yeah, and yeah, so I think we should look at it and see about getting it, keep them on the turnpike, because it is a small stretch of road and it's not really fair to the people that live in that small stretch of road to have that all day, I think, so. We'll take a look at it.
No, I'll follow up and be.
Yeah, we'll chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other remarks from councilors? Very good. All righty. Moving along to consideration of old business. I know it says here set tentative budget, as I stated during the public hearing, we are still in the budget process. We will be setting the mill rate at the April 22nd meeting. But we are gonna We do have a couple of technical changes that we are going to make tonight. These are, one was related to our health district payment and one was related to the motor vehicle tax resolution that we passed at a few meetings ago. Let's see. Counselor Page, would you do the resolution for these? Yes, for these two things?
Looking at this
Yeah,
here.
it's not in there.
No, I don't see
No,
it.
it's
No.
not
Yeah.
in.
We don't have.
We don't have a paper, no, we just have it from Janet. She sent us the. You want to do it? Yeah.
I would recommend we, for account 105118220, we increase the health district payment by $8,311.
Motion by Counselor Mankey,
Second.
seconded by Counselor Floyd. Any discussion on this change?
This is the increased cost that the health district needs for the.
Correct.
Just
Yep,
to clarify.
correct.
This is the cost of the health district, right? Yeah.
Correct. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstain or oppose? All right, motion carries unanimously. Counselor Mankey, you want to do the other one?
For account 101545007, we increased the motor vehicle tax revenue by $977,048.
Second.
All right, motion by Counselor Mankey, seconded by Counselor Taniakis. Any discussion on this?
Again, this reflects the changes in that we voted last time for the.
Yeah, which is a reflection of the change in the state law that was made earlier in the session. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstain? None. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Any other comments on budget or questions or anything like that, Counselor? For now, we'll just keep moving on the process, right? Beautiful. All righty. Moving right along to item B, sole source contract for replacement of fire station number 1 bay floor. Deputy Mayor Rada, would you please read the resolution?
I'd be happy to. Resolved, whereas the town council has the power under section 813 of the Newington Charter to waive the process of procuring sealed bids, and whereas town personnel have determined that Pentec floor coating is a sole source product supplied by DeStefano Brothers Concrete Coatings. Now therefore be it resolved that the town council hereby grants a waiver as requested by Jeffrey Trommer, Fire Chief, for the requirement of sealed bids for the installation of the company 1 bay floor at a cost of $64,095.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, seconded by Counselor Gonzalez. Any discussion on this? Can you have your hand up?
Oh, it was, I mistake.
Counselor Bedrejko.
Yeah, I don't know whether we had the actual bid specs last time. I honestly don't remember, but I was reading through them and I just have a couple of questions. I don't know if one of you can answer in terms of, there's just a few items in the contract I'm just curious about. One of them is, or two of them, I guess, it says DeStefano Brothers recommends removal of wood baseboard before the installation, and they will not fill expansion joints with mender. Is that going to be an additional cost, or are you going to do it?
No, that's all, everything's included that we need to. The wood baseboard, we don't have any wood baseboard in there.
Oh,
They just put that as a standard language that they put in their contract. We actually have a rubber,
Cold molding.
cold molded, correct, and that's throughout the whole firehouse.
Then it says, I don't know, and maybe this is just the standard contract, but about keeping the floor at 65 degrees Fahrenheit, blah, 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 blah. That's our responsibility, but is it normally that anyways?
So all that means is that when they're putting the floor down, it has to be maintained at a 65 degrees for it to cure properly.
How do you take the temperature of a floor?
Well, basically you would set the heat inside the firehouse at 65 degrees and it just maintains the inside of the firehouse.
We're gonna have to wait till August at this rate.
Yeah, no kidding.
one more, it says if contractor determines the installation requires a moisture or vapor block, it would be our responsibility. And how much would that cost if we have to do it or?
It's actually included in the proposal. Actually, there is a waterproofing, application that they're gonna put on.
Oh,
So
okay.
that is included in the price.
So there were also, so the
Yep.
price that we see, there's nothing additional.
Nope, there's nothing additional.
Okay, thank you
Nope,
very much.
everything's included in it.
Thanks.
Yep.
Counselor Mankey?
And just for the public's edification, this 64,000 has already been budgeted, correct?
This
it's
was
moved over.
actually in another project
Right,
that we
moved
had,
it over.
that we came under budget. And we're actually just using the additional funds for that.
Counselor, any other remarks from counselors or questions? Okay, now we had a motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, it was seconded by Counselor Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries unanimously.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Last on the docket for old business is permanent municipal building committee ordinance. From what I understand where we're at, we're just looking to see if anybody has any other additional questions or anything else that we want to have the attorney review in terms of language before we initiate the ordinance review process and public hearing. So I'll open it up for comments or counselors from comments and questions from counselors. Counselor Mackey.
I just tried to read through this and I'm confused under the second page of the full one where it says 2 additional voting members. It says either reviewed and recommended. It seems like it's either you need to review it or you recommend it, but you can't do both. So it's.
So it's a good question. Would you like me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, please, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Defer to the chair.
So, Councilor Mackey, it's a good question. The either in that section refers to either the members will be from a proposing body or they will be from the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees. So that is what the either is referring to there. If you read the full section, either reviewed and recommended by the proposing body, or that's the second bullet point below that, or in the case of the Lucy Robbins Wells Library, as the library and surrounding property is under the ownership of control of the Board of Trustees, they shall recommend those appointees. So that's what that's referring to. And we kept the library specified in there out of respect for its, unique relationship. So that's why we put that in there. Does that answer your question?
It seems to me it's like 2 separate clauses, but I guess
If you'd like, if I could suggest, I'm reading it. I mean, if you'd like, we could remove reviewed, either recommended by the
I think
proposing body.
it's kind of confusing. But
Understood.
It seems like it seems like maybe one or the other.
Yeah, it could read a bit better.
Yeah.
So either recommended by the proposing body for each public building, et cetera, or
Or
et
in the
cetera,
case, or in the case of Ms. Robbinsville. Yeah,
So just remove review.
yeah, I think that's, yeah.
Just another suggestion is that what's a little confounding to me is the either. Maybe the first bullet, reviewed and recommended, because this is specifically what we're talking about, the review and recommendation by the proposing body, or in the case, and then in the case of Lucy Robbins Wells. So take out either.
I think it's reviewed and recommended. I think are the same thing. I think if it's the body would recommend or reviewed, I think recommended is what they would do.
Yeah.
They wouldn't review it, they recommend it.
So
I would think to take out either and reviewed and just make it recommended by the proposing body.
So the only reason we include either is because we don't want, and this came up in our last council meeting when we were reviewing this section, we don't want it to sound as though there's a possibility for 4 additional members on this committee. So it's either, those 2 additional voting members need to either be recommended by the proposing body or recommended by the Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees. So I agree, we can remove the word reviewed, it's redundant, but I think the either is pretty imperative there. Is my own suggestion.
Wait, so now I'm sorry, I'm confused, Matt.
Sure.
So it should read what you're proposing is, it's safe.
It would say 2 additional voting members, either recommended by the proposing body for each public building project on which the commission has been charged and shall vote only on matters pertaining to the project for which they have jurisdiction. Second bullet point, or in the case of Lucy Robbins Welch.
Oh,
Library,
I understand. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Either,
Then we take out the review then, okay.
Okay.
right at the top.
And then we spoke last time that, oh, I'm sorry. Get out of it. Matt and
I think, yeah, we can,
That makes sense then, 'cause if you take out the review, then it make that flows better. And then we talked about last time that there should be one from either party, right?
yes, and there will be. So we have to comply with the charter because this is a town committee. So it's kind of endemic to this, that inherent in this, that there would have to be a partisan split that matches all other committees in the town. So
I would
And
just
references repeated.
prefer to see it spelled out here,
you prefer to see that spelled out.
just so there's no confusion later on.
To reference CGS statutes on
Or-
or the representation or something like
I
that.
didn't
yeah.
spell out here.
Yeah,
the
that's,
reference. That was my preference.
So we'll add reference,
minority representation of statutes.
Well, yeah.
the third bullet point to minority representation.
Sure, fair representation.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from counselors on this? All right, so I think we'll open our little adjustments and we'll get the attorney to review it, and I think at our next meeting, we'll be able to start a process on this, hopefully. Great. So, excellent. Any other comments or questions from counselors? All right, seeing none, we will move on to tax refunds. This is approval of the April 8th, 2025 refunds as indicated earlier in the meeting. There was a typo in the agenda. Counselor Page, would you please read the resolution?
Resolved that the property tax refunds in the amount of $2,999.48 are hereby approved in the individual amounts and for those named on the request for refund of an overpayment of taxes certified by the revenue collector, a list of which is attached to this resolution.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Page, seconded by Counselor Menke. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstained? All right, motion carries unanimously. All right. Moving on to minutes of previous meetings, and we have the minutes of March 11th, 2025 public hearing, approval of March 11th, 25 regular meeting minutes, approval of March 15th, 2025 special meeting minutes, and the approval of March 25th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. First, any counselors, any issues with any of the minutes, any requests or anything? Counselor Nagel.
I don't have an issue. I've read them all. There may be some minor things I missed, but I give approval.
I then would move adoption.
Okay, very good, very good. So we will, so we're motion to approve all of them?
Don't move.
All right, motion by Counselor Floyd,
Second.
second by Deputy Mayor Rada. All those in favor of approving the minutes of March 11th, 2025 public hearing, March 11th, 2025 regular meeting, March 15th, 2025 special meeting, and March 25th, 2025 regular meeting minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? All right, motion carries unanimously. So moving on to resignations. We do have one resignation. Council Floyd, would you read the resolution?
Sure. Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby accepts the resignation of Maureen O'Connor Lyons as a member of the Library Renovations Addition Public Building Committee in accordance with the correspondence received on March 24th, 2025, and effective immediately.
Second.
Motion by Council Floyd, second by Councilor Nagel. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstention? All right, motion carries unanimously. We do have a couple of appointments. I will turn that over to Councilor Menke and Councilor Page.
Resolved, Newington Town Council hereby makes the following appointments. Teresa Avey, public member, 71 Commonwealth Avenue, Party R, immediate to inception of project completion. I should say what the committee is. The Fire Department Facilities Project Building Committee. And it's a vacancy.
And the library renovations addition PBC, name is Christopher Riley, library board representing, address 169 Forest Drive, Party D. Term immediate to indefinitely replaces vacancy from resignation of Maureen O'Connor Lyons.
Second.
Motion and a second by Counselor Budraco. Any discussion on these? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? All right, motion carries unanimously. We will move along to consideration of new business. Item A, appointment of town's agent of record.
Yeah, I'll just briefly tee it up and then turn it over to Tim and AJ if they have anything to add. We went out as required by our town charter, or actually a code of our ordinances, not the charter. We went out for an RFP for our agent of record for our benefits. 3 firms responded, and the insurance and benefit committee interviewed them, and their recommendation was to go with Lockton, I believe, which was also the cheapest option as well, but they're our current provider. So, maintaining the status quo is the recommendation. AJ or Tim, you have anything to add to that?
I thought it was a fun night. We were there for quite some. I like that kind of stuff.
You know how to party, AJ.
Yeah, but we were there for a while, and it was the first time in my tenure here that we actually had a split vote happen, and we had to talk it out and figure it out there. So I thought that was interesting to see the least. But yeah, we ended up picking Lockton as they were the cheaper option, and we had them for a long time and familiar with them. They have a great relationship, so I'm confident in the work that they provide and the services that they provide. So hopefully they guide us a good way as we advance in the future of our economy, federally.
Councilor Mackey.
I question Councilor Bianca's here for a good time. Fun evening. We did have 3 candidates that 3 firms that did submit RFPs, and we did interview all 3 firms. And if despite what AJ may say, if you want to have a fun evening, don't have 3 insurance companies. It's not as much fun as you might think it was. It was interesting to hear the proposals, and I think we did choose wisely, and we did choose the incumbent, which is was the cheapest rate, but it's also they provided good service over the course of the year, the preceding year. So I'm happy with our choice. It was a great discussion around the table. So we're set for another couple of years.
Any other questions or comments from councilors? Well, then moving along to next item of new business on the agenda is consideration of building permit fees.
Yeah, and I'll discuss this briefly as well. So as you remember, as part of my proposed budget, I proposed an increase to the building permit fees that would generate approximately $150,000 in additional revenue to help offset any increase in the mill rate. What I show you in my memo is how our fees would compare if we go from what we're currently charging to what I'm proposing that we're charging. So currently we charge $50 up if you have a project cost of $4,000 or less, we charge $50 for building permits. For projects over $4,000, we charge $11 per $1,000 of project costs. What I'm proposing is we go to $50 for projects costing $3,000 or less, and then for more expensive projects, it's $15 per $1,000 of project costs. But even if we do that increase, our permit fee levels would be below the average in Hartford County as outlined in this memo. So the example I used, if you just do a kind of mid-level bathroom remodel for $30,000, currently we would charge $330 for that. Under the proposed higher rates, it would be $450. But in other communities, the permit fees are much higher. Plainville, that same project would cost $613. Looking at neighboring communities, Berlin, it would be $495, Weathersfield, $502. compared to 450 for us. So I guess my point is, even with these higher costs, we would still be below average. And importantly, this fee increase isn't just to generate revenue. It's to better recover the costs of providing the services. And that's a critical thing, because this is a fee, not a tax. So it has to be related to the cost of the service being provided. And that's what I'm proposing here.
Any questions from council? Counselor Mackey.
Just when was the last time we increased our fees?
I don't know that. I know that it was discussed when Keith Chapman was the manager. So I suspect it's been a while. But I don't know. I can follow up with that, answer that.
Counselor Page.
Thanks, Mayor. So when we talk about the fees, I was thinking that as you described it, town manager, that the fees in large part maybe have to do with inspections of those ongoing projects to make sure they're complying with all ordinances and safety and so forth, to keep homeowners safe and our community safe and
Exactly.
so forth. So, yeah, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a service that we're providing to make sure that, that buildings don't burn down and are, don't, yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Counselor Pedrico.
Because I know from, having attended a lot of the land use board meetings over the past couple of years, town staff has said that we've been historically undercharging based to other towns, and this has proven it. So I'm really happy to see that happen. I certainly don't think, since we are still undercharging, even if we do pass this, that it's going to prohibit any building in the town. It's just going to let us recoup our costs in a fair manner. So I certainly support this.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Likewise, when I first saw the proposal in the budget, I was a little skittish about it, but seeing the comparisons, it's actually quite stunning how low we were. So I'm also interested if you can find out when's the last time we did update that, because that is fairly shocking. So just thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point, Counselor. Oh, sorry, Counselor Pedrico.
No, I was just wondering if you're gonna go to that level of inquiry into, when the last time this was this was changed, maybe you can check with some of our town staff and see, when on other fees that we charge.
Okay.
Perhaps we should, and it's not gonna certainly be, an immediate need, but if they can, find that out and find out what other towns are doing and what your staff's recommendation is, if we are under, over, or right where we should be.
Can I ask, what was the prompt? Like, how did this come about?
This was just as when we were talking about with Janet and Lauren, just
Something that was kicking
shooting the
around.
breeze about the budget. These were some ideas that just came out.
To the point that others have made, I think, it'd be good to know when the last time was updated.
Absolutely.
But I think, moving forward, maybe we can set something up so that we review it regularly so that
Absolutely.
we can keep up.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions from counselors? Counselor Gonzalez.
Thank you for finding that. I think that's great.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Counselor. All right, for no further comments, we will move on to item C. Fiscal year 2026 Connecticut State Library Historic Documents Program Grant. We knew you.
We know you.
Look familiar.
Oh, we thought you were just hanging around.
I don't see you here that often. This is good.
Well, it's always nice to come.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of an update for you guys. The quote in there was incorrect for the records. And a spreadsheet of history of the grants that we have applied to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Interesting. We're gonna do it with slides. We're not.
Oh, it's up there. We have it on the screen.
You have it on your screen.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of history about where this came from, why we apply for it every year, and the benefit it is to the town. So this original program was created in 2000. And as part of that, it created a non-lapsing fund for towns to be able to preserve their records. There was a $3 fee that was created, and the town receives $1 of that. And $2 of it goes into the state library. 70% of that fee comes back to the towns in the form of a grant. We are able to apply for that grant every April and September for beginning in July 1st or October 1st. In addition to the original creation in 2000, they amended it in 2017 to create it as a $2 fund. So we've been blessed to gain additional funding over the time. And I will be happy to say that in the 24 years this program has run, we have not missed 1 year. And you'll see that in the spreadsheet that I gave to you, and it'll be on the screen for the public shortly. So this year's project is a continuation of when we started in 2021. So you'll see the image on the left-hand side are are called compact books. They are a plastic book put together with pins, very difficult to take apart, very difficult to make copies. The design of it does not lend itself to preserving a record for a long period of time. The books to the right that you see are what we call Zercap or Champ binders. They're a heavy-duty archival binder. The binders themselves are metal framed, so very sturdy, easy to handle, easy to remove pages, make copies when title searchers or town departments come in for records. Right now, Eric is in the process of doing a very large background project, so benefit for him as well. So this current project, as you'll see as part of the grant quote that I gave back to you, is for 64 binders. Now, technically, I'm doing 94, but 30 of those I'm doing under this year's budgeting funds that we have in the department still to complete this project. So all of those wonderful white books will be gone by the end of this grant. So we're required to fill out the application form that is sent into the state library every year. It outlines exactly the amount of funding we're requesting from the state, and you'll see in the documentation, depending on the size of the town, whether it's a small, medium, or large municipality, you will receive either, it's really small, I believe it's 5,000, 7,000, or 10,000. But if you look through the spreadsheet I gave to you, you'll see over the history that has changed drastically. And that is all based upon the money that the towns supply to the state library and what comes back. So in this cycle right now, we're at 7,000. Last year, we were at 7,500. Next year could be 10, could be 5. So it's always a question, but we always try to make sure that based upon what the state library informs us of, we're able to find a program in our grants that will work for the town and be able to preserve those records. So as part of that application, we are required to describe the project that we're going to do. So in this case, I've described out the 64 books that we're planning to do, the quote that we were supplied by our vendor, what we're hoping to realize by this, and then the information as backup for them to review the project and hopefully approve it. Usually they will, as long as it meets the standards that are put out by the state library. So as I said, the quote has been updated. 334 to 589 are the books that we're looking at doing. And there is a listing of all of those volumes as well. You may be able to notice it in the image. Those are actually bolded around. So there are 4 volumes per each binder. So we're maximizing the space that we are utilizing, and we have a perfect fit to fit the books completely across the shelf without any additional space. So it works out quite well for us. Considering vaults can be of a difficult thing to get built in the future, you always want to maximize the space you have available. So this is an example, a little bit larger for you to be able to see of what the compact cover looks like. You can see the pins along the left-hand side that bind the book together. If you go to make a copy of one, you're now flexing that spine, putting additional stress upon that permanent record. It doesn't preclude us from reprinting that in the future, but you try to avoid that whenever possible. So this is what we're alleviating by this program. These are our new books. So nice heavy weight,
You'll notice on the right-hand image, that binder has a small little lip at the top. That's actually where they open. Some of the older books actually had it at the bottom, which didn't make a lot of sense, especially if you put it on the shelf and somebody didn't lock it in and you've got pages everywhere. So we've worked with our vendor to change the format on that book style. So little history on some of our recreations that we've done already. A few years back, I came before council and you were all gracious enough to supply us with some ARPA funding to do a backfiling and image linking project. So those are the books that you see on the left-hand side image. That's that image right there is a 6-foot block. The image on your right is also a 6-foot block. The large books, which are recreated into those small books on the right, we can fit 42 in that 6-foot space. On the recreated volumes, we can fit 138. So by removing, and we're not destroying them, we are transferring the larger books to the state archive, the ones that we can, and going to the recreations, we're saving at least 3 to almost 4 times the space in the vault from transferring to those new books. As you can see, this was the old wall that's in the vault. If anybody has been into the vault lately, they will notice that that wall is now another large black shelving area. And you'll see some of the specifications. So this unit is a 61-inch width, a 13-inch depth, and a I'm sorry, I'm missing my image there because the thing's in the way, a 71-inch height, giving us a 32.58 cubic foot per unit. When we get into our larger ones, depending on which unit that we're looking at, so I do have 2 of them based upon how the vendor created the shelvings. So my old ones were actually a recreation of a triple stack from the old vault. So we had single shelves, they put them into there and then they added additional shelving to them to give us the added benefit. So you'll see just one of those units is 15.93 cubic feet. For the unit that I'm showing to you right now, which is the first unit, we haven't started using the second. We currently have about 6 units available that will encompass about 468 volumes going forward, which works out to be at this point about 13 years before we have to move into our new storage area. And just for the edification of prior counselors, you may remember a few years back in 2019, we were talking about the old assessment books. So these were the recreations that we had completed. They allowed us to recreate the new covers, sew them back into them. And so this range from 1870 to 1879 has been done. In addition to that process, let's see if I can actually swap over here. It's been a little while. We actually also, here we go, pulled in and had them imaged. So what you're looking at right now is our Laserfiche repository. So this is a permanent records repository that allows for searchability. You'll notice, and I believe I presented it in the original proposal, the number on the right-hand side of $493,869 was the original grand list of the town of Newington in 1870.
Wow.
As you go into your budget season now, that's not getting you a lot. But it's nice to be able to see that we now have these as permanent records and we'll be able to move those forward and allow the public to have access to those as well. So the listing that I provided to each of the counselors is this is sort of an excerpt of it. There are a couple extra columns in the counselors ones, but you'll notice in 2002, we started with general map indexing. So prior to that, we had old books with hand typed indexes into them. We had no backup of those. So that was Terry Craywick at the time went forward as her first grant and worked on that with Merit Imaging out of Vernon. And throughout the years, we've either recreated indexes or created back indexing or back imaging projects in order to expand the accessibility for our title searchers and the public for our records, especially if we're closed and they can still work. It's a great thing. And we gain revenue from that, from the images that they purchase online. We've done shelving installations. We've done the Laserfish system, which is the grant in 2013. That was a joint grant with the IT department. We actually have purchased a copier for public use. As I talked about, the back filing is in there. We've done replacement binders for our military records, another important imaging project for us to be able to make sure that we had preservation of those. And at this point, we're down to finishing off our Zercap compact book binder replacement. And we're already planning ahead into 2027 for a possible vital binder replacement. We've got a lot of old books that are bound together, and it makes it very difficult to be able to make a copy of the entire image. So by breaking those out and putting them into accessible books like the land records, we'll have a better accessibility and preservation of those records. So you'll notice, and the number that was in your memorandum was just slightly off. When we were putting this together, and I didn't realize it changed, the amount we received to date is $195,500. With this year's grant, that will put us to $202,500. Of that, we've also used over $80,000 as part of the grant program, but we've used additional funds in the office itself, separate from the grant program as well. So thinking of all of the things that we've gotten done, those are outside of the budget process completely. But they're a benefit to the departments, they're a benefits to the citizens of the town. And it's the main reason that we apply for this in every cycle that we can. And that is the end of my presentation. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you, James. This was
My pleasure.
Excellent presentation.
Councilor Draco.
No, I know, we've heard your requests every year, whatever, and I just seeing it all in one place just makes me realize, how much you've been doing. And also, like you said, keeping it outside of the budget process is a real benefit to the town of Newington. And also, obviously, particularly since now we're getting a little bit of a more focus on the history of the town or whatever. This will be great for people who are trying to do some research.
Definitely.
For the past, as well as people, currently needing it for land transactions. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. I think the vault room is one of the coolest rooms in the building, in my opinion. It's just that's our history right there.
It is.
And it's incredibly important that it gets preserved and stays preserved for as long as we possibly keep it. So yeah, this is awesome. And thank you for your work on this.
And that may be something I want to come back to the council on as well. So in our old building, the vault was actually dedicated to Ed Sermon, who retired as town clerk in 1980.
Okay.
So I may look to request a rededication of it in his name. And I still have his old plaque, so that's one of those great things.
It was mine. Thank you,
So-
James. Appreciate
Thank
that.
you, James.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
And I think you guys sped this up because you were just excited to see me tonight.
Yeah.
You guys are never done at this time.
We're getting there. Appreciate it. You guys, you've heard about the proclamations last.
Thank you again.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, we move on to number 12, written oral communications from the town manager, other town agencies. Any report for us, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few things I wanted to bring to your attention. First off, there is a new town center survey that's been posted that Councilor Tiniakis has already posted to his Facebook pages. And that would basically, if you were unable to come to the charrette, it gives you another opportunity to provide input for Colliers. So really good opportunity, much more in detail, I think, and in depth than the previous surveys that Colliers has used. So not exactly sure when that expires, but it's up now, and encourage residents who are unable to come to the charrette to complete that. Couple of notes about the parking lot here around Town Hall. The parking lot on the west entrance between the police department and Town Hall will be closed on Good Friday, April 18th, so that cranes can come in to put the new HVAC system on top of the police building. The following week, the week after Easter, I guess the 21st to the 25th, the parking lot on the other side of Town Hall, next to Garfield, and possibly one of the one just to the north of that will be closed for all or part of that week in order to install the new EV charging stations. So that's exciting. We want to do a Facebook blast to make sure residents are aware that, you know, in 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be able to charge their vehicles here at Town Hall. I'm in response to Mike Fox's questions that he raised in public participation last week. By the powers vested in me by the town council, I appointed Jamie Trevathan as our new municipal Veterans Affairs representative. The next step for her is to go to a training that the Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs offers, I think in June. And then once she's trained and knows how to respond to inquiries from veterans, you know, we'll get the word out, make residents aware that Jamie's a resource for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, later this week, we'll be advertising on Facebook that there will be a public information meeting on, I believe it's Monday. It was April 30th, which is that Monday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, excuse me, Wednesday, April 30th. The public information meeting with DOT for the sidewalk project on Cedar Street. So please come to that. And then there's just to be aware, there's a couple of bids and RFPs out on the street right now. The first one, the John Wallace Middle School, Phase 1, basically the site prep bid is out on the street. Deadline for that is May 5th. The pool evaluation RFP that was discussed by the town pools building committee, that RFP is on the street, closes on May 1st. And then finally, the liability agent of record RFP is out on the street too, and that closes, I think, on April 24th. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jonathan. To council liaison committee reports, the updates from councilors, Councilor Gonzalez.
Well, I just wanted to bring up the senior center fundraiser. I was gonna wait till the end. I didn't really mean to hit my.
No, go for it. No,
Okay,
you're here.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
fine.
looking to get the information for everyone. The senior center is having a fundraiser, and it is a dinner dance fundraiser for the nutritional program. It is Friday, April 25th at 6 p.m. It's at the Portuguese Club here in town. It says colorful springtime attire is encouraged, and you can get tickets. I'm not sure if they fixed it online. They were having some problems online through the Park and Rec. You were able to do that, or you can go into the senior center and get your tickets there, and they take check or cash. There's $60 each, so that should be a really fun night. Hopefully, everybody will come out and enjoy.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Nagel.
Thank you. To continue with the senior center, thank you for saying some things that I don't have to say. I've said before in this meeting. I bought my tickets.
I got mine too.
All right. Hopefully everyone else will. It's open to the public. It's not just for seniors or those who are members of the senior center. Had the good fortune of attending 2 Commission on Aging and Disabled meetings within the same day. This is a record. The senior center committee decided that they wanted to have a public forum for senior center members to tell them what has been going on in the senior center, how the senior center works, what it has to offer, what it will offer, what plans they're having, and also to get some input from members in terms of what they would like to see in the future at the center, or explain more to them. So there was a daytime meeting for them on Wednesday, April 2nd. There was a very clear, detailed presentation by Jamie Trevathan about all those things, including finances. Really was excellent. And then it was followed by different kinds of activities so that everyone within the large building, I think there were about 40 people there, could share through notes all the concerns they had. And then there was a question and answers session as well. There was a meeting of the commission itself that night. There wasn't enough time for Jamie to get together all the information that was gathered at that meeting. But they did talk initially about results and how the meeting went. Also, at the evening meeting, they discussed about the Portuguese Club event, nutrition, different plans that they are having to get everything together to make it a beneficial night for a nutrition program, but also a fun night for the public at large, to not celebrate but to show how Newington supports the needs of the town. We need to be in a somewhat fun way. They also discussed, which they have been for a while there, selecting a volunteer of the year. There's a volunteer luncheon, no, it's an evening event that's held every year only for volunteers. They did select from the list of suggestions, I think it's Principe, who has done a variety of things to be the volunteer of the year. He's worked on the Congregate Lunch Program, Meals on Wheels, Office Assistance, setback programs, lending closet, and whatever else was needed. There are more things listed here. There were about 8 or 9, I believe, names from looking here that were submitted, and fortunately we can celebrate his being selected this year. They also discussed past events that are coming up in the year. Once again, there is a program that you can get at the senior center in town from everyone, which details all the different things they have to present, which are quite extensive. What was highlighted by Jamie is a Walk This Way 4-Town Walking Challenge on Thursday, April 17th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. In connection with the health district. And I believe Charlie Brown mentioned it when he was here for the health district. So if you want to know more about that, you can contact the senior center and be part of that competition, so to speak, that is ongoing, which is a fun event as well. Let's see, anything else? No, talked about that. And there were some minor things that have to do with equipment that's being requested, but can be done within funds that they have that won't affect us at all. So that's that.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Gonzalez, good?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Counselor Floyd?
My thing wrapped
Oh,
out, so
okay.
I'll
It's all right.
through Counselor Gonzalez, I'll speak to a few things. The Economic Development Commission met last week and talked about a variety of things. They held off on further conversations about the Hobby Odyssey and other things, but those initiatives are ongoing. What they did talk quite a bit about, together with Counselor Bradraco and her fantastic suggestion about letters to business owners, was about drafting something that could be sent out to new business owners on town letterhead, and existing business owners as well for major milestones throughout their business's lifespan. And just letting them know that the town supports them, is there for them, is excited that they've invested in our community, and is here to lend a helping hand when they may need that. I just want to highlight a few other things. Town Planning and Zoning Commission also met and discussed a few things. One thing I'll note is there was a lot of discussion about Taco John's, which is in the process of going through permitting and so on at the Ashley Furniture site in a portion of their parking lot that's been split off for this purpose. So there was some discussion about concerns of the line backing up into the Berlin Turnpike for that drive-through. It seems that the applicant's going to continue working on making sure that's not a concern, which is great. And they also mentioned that their development will come with some enhanced green features around the site, which is always exciting. Just want to highlight as well that this Wednesday, the zoning commission will meet, and among other things on their agenda is a new Chinese buffet having a public hearing in the Kits Lane Plaza, which of course we all know could use a lot of TLC. So we're very excited to potentially see them going in there. And then I'll just highlight a few businesses that have opened up recently and some other updates. Hungry Bowl is now open. So if you haven't tried it yet, you should definitely head out. Dave's Hot Chicken. Ollie's is great. I've started to do a portion of my grocery shop in there. They're wonderful. AAA Bottle Redemption Depot is open on Payne Road. The Live Dispensary, a new dispensary that had been slated for that Pier 1 site, that is now open as well. Full Belly Brick Oven in the Montana Knights, the axe throwing location, they've opened up as well. And just to note about Blaze Pickle over in the former Best Market site, they are extending their stay. They will be in here throughout the month of May, which is very exciting. We're so glad to have them and glad that it's working out, and may even stay beyond that as well. They'll be announcing future plans at some point.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Mankey.
I'm not a liaison for it, but I just want to make a note that the Friends of Liz Robbins Wells is having a collection of books. If you have any books you aren't using, they're collecting for their book drive in May. It'll be in the library parking lot from 11 to 3 on Saturday, the 12th. So if you have any books that you're not reading, or you're not planning on reading, or you've already read them a couple times, or you're not going to read them again, the library will be happy to take them and use them for the book sale in May. You just drive in, drop them off, and drive right back out.
All right, thank you, Counselor. Any other remarks? Seeing none, we will go back to public participation.
Speak, come on up. If you're on Zoom, please use the raise hand function and we will alternate.
Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive, and I know this isn't the time for back and forth, but as I'm sitting here listening to about the survey, which I did get on my email, and a few other things. The town website, I didn't even think to go to the town Facebook page. There's got to be some way that we can get the word out to people that they can sign up for these notices. I know that sometimes I get things through emails and I'll send them to Dana and she'll put them on Newington Strong or something like that. And I'm sure that Scott gets all of them too. But I think it would be a lot of, maybe people wouldn't, I don't know, maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't go to the Facebook page if they knew it was there, or go to the link where you can sign up for almost anything. I'm getting doubles on some of the meetings, but I'm afraid to tell them not to send them because then I'm not going to get them. There was an announcement about Eversource doing some vegetation or maintenance of the vegetation along some certain areas in Newington and stuff like that. It was on one of the Facebook pages. I went to the link that they had and I couldn't get any information. I went to the town website. I finally ended up writing to the person that was mentioned in the letter, and he said, oh, that wasn't supposed to go out that way. You cause a lot of problems when you don't, get out the right information. The survey on the charrette, I didn't realize it was something new. I just kind of looked at it quickly. I'll have to look at that when I get home. But also Great Blue, I think, or Great, I forget what the name, the citizen satisfaction survey. I know we've had, I think, 3 town managers since that was done. I'm just curious as to anybody if they followed up on that. I know when former Mayor Wright was trying to revamp or remodel or redo the center of town, he said that there was 13 studies prior to his going into it and trying to get people to come in. Do these studies just get done and get put on a bookshelf somewhere? And does anybody ever follow up on the ideas? I know with the senior center, with that survey, there was multiple choice questions. What would you like to see for Parks and Rec? And yes, a pool was the number 1 thing, but okay, pickleball was maybe number 3, and there's a whole bunch of choices. And the same way with the senior center, I think a lot of people said that they didn't even know about some of the programs. And Jamie said that she tries to get things out there. It just seems to me that more and more people are going to the Facebook groups than they are to the actual town website. and it just starts a firestorm, and a lot of different things. I try to go to the department heads as I've asked, town manager, I CC him on whatever I send to the department heads because I think he needs to know as well, especially being new, but it just bothers me so that there's so much information out there that's not good information, and then you don't know who to trust. But there's something that can be done to, even with the website, is that something, I hope that they're working on it, because I think it really needs some help, because you've got to have the same information in different areas, even in the landfill, sometimes the information's different where you look. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room or over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation? Seeing none, we'll move on to remarks by counselors. Any comments from counselors? Great meeting, everybody. Proclamation is really fun. It's really good stuff. We have
Really,
great,
really
we have such awesome people in this town.
Yeah, you do.
We just do. Anybody have any informational items?
The library marathon run is still open for registration. So
Very good.
sign up.
It's a marathon now?
Or a 5K. Yeah. Well, you gotta.
You never run
AJ
that If I'm running, it's a marathon.
Yeah,
AJ is running, it's a hop.
Yeah, there you go, there you go, yeah. Oh.
It's a perspective thing.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All
Second.
right, motion by Council Flores, second by Council Gonzalez. Any discussion on adjournment? Seeing none, all those in favor? We are adjourned at 8:52 PM. Great meeting. Scott, Susan, and Lauren for staying.